How you doing, everyone? I'm back today, Saturday. It's a beautiful day, but I didn't get to go out. I needed to, like have some sanitize my room. You know, clean it up. Today was clean day instead of doing it Sunday. Sunday I go and work out, as you already know. Um, I woke up pretty good today. I had some thoughts on my mind that I'm about to share with you. Um, so they sent me certain things that I sent to order, and they made a couple of mistakes on certain items, which I'm gonna return. I try to leave a review, and sometimes them reviews, you know, I don't know, I don't even understand them because basically they want you to put what they want to hear. You understand? They want to give themselves a 5-star review, and they don't like to listen to what you need to say, especially when it comes to an item. And I woke up with that today to where I thought I was gonna have all my stuff so I can start, doing what I plan to do. But it seems that half of my equipment is not here. So, on that note, um, let's talk about something else. You know, um, I was pretty banged up yesterday. I did a two-body workout, right? I was explaining to you that I did chest and back, and for some reason, the next day I woke up in so much pain, and it could be that I'm not getting enough rest, like I said before. You know, the workouts consistently, right? And you don't give your muscles time to heal, and I guess this is where the problems come from, right? Um, I heard this girl say yesterday that when she rests, right, and this is a friend of mine's, when she rests for 2 days or 3 days, that's when she realized her physique has changed. Because you got to understand that when you rest and your tissues are healed, that's when you can see your true form. Like, what is it that you need to work on, right? And, you know, it basically, you know, what has progressed since you started working out, right? So for me, right, um, when I look at myself, right, I say to myself, wow, I've come a long way because you got to understand, um, my situation was totally different, right? Um, and I went from being obese, and to tell you the truth, I feel like I'm still a little overweight, but I went from being obese, right, um, to finding a solution, and that's working out, right? And there's some times that I find out, I say to myself that it's not working, because the mind plays tricks on you. I find myself saying that it's not working. I'm not losing no weight. I'm not progressing in my workout. And in all reality, that's all mind tricks. It has been working for me. The gym has been something that had saved my life ever since I've been working out. It seems that when I go work out, I feel so much better. And when I don't work out, it's when all the problems start to happen, right? So first, it's the eating habits, right? Um, you know, Sweets. I have a problem with sweets, right? So I had to cut that off because regardless of the fact, right, if I'm going to the gym and I'm working out and I'm doing 2 hours of workout and I'm sweating all this fat off and all these calories, and then to come home and start eating, it can be all you say to yourself, oh, I'm just eating a little pack of cookies. it doesn't matter. It's still sugar. And the sugar is the number one problem because, that sweetness, when you start craving it, it became, it's a problem. It's a problem because you look for things, that might, you know, eliminate that craving. And depending on what you have in the house, right? You know, you start eating stuff that you're not supposed to. So that's why I make it a habit that when I go out and got to go to the store, I stack up maybe on oranges, apples, grapes, bananas, things like that. So when I do feel a craving for something, I'll eat, a fruit or something in that nature, right? Juices is the best thing. Usually I buy myself um, um, some spinach, some celery. I buy myself some beets, and things in that nature. And I'll put it in the blender and I'll start making juices, right? And I'll make a gallon for myself and I'll drink it every other day, right? Depending on the calories it has and what's the, the facts that it has about, as far as nutrition goes and the protein that it has. Because that's one important thing that you got to understand. When you eat something, you always got to, um, you know, search and find out what you're eating. Is it good for you and what it does? What are the health benefits of what you're eating, right? So every time I eat something that I don't know about, and I say, okay, it's a fruit, but what did it do? What does it do, right? So I look it up and I find out what are the benefits from that fruit that I'm eating. So like that, I know, you know, what is it that I'm putting in my body, right? Because that's very important too. In order to eliminate fat, you gotta stop eating things that create fat, right? So this is one way of doing it. Always have things around your house that that doesn't contain no sugar, which most of the things do, right? A lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables. If you're gonna eat, I know sometimes I eat salad, right? And I make the salad on my own, and I really it doesn't fill me up. It doesn't fill me up, and I really don't like it. I don't. I don't like the taste of it. Unless I put vinegar and things in that nature, right? But I really don't. I really find no taste in it. But I eat it because it's healthy. I eat it because it's recommended, you know, and it's something that I always listen to. Sometimes when I go on YouTube and I look at, some health issues and certain vitamins and fruits and vegetables, I do a lot of research on these things because I want to know, what I'm consuming, right? Because it's very important, to blend both of them. You gotta understand, you gotta when you work out, right? Depending on what you're working out for, you're working out for muscle, you're working to eliminate fat, you're working to get a better physique, or you're working to get big, powerful. It depends on what you're working on, you know. That's when you decide what you eat because you gotta understand people that do a lot of weights, right? And are looking to gain a lot of muscles, right? Those people eat a lot of carbohydrates, potatoes, maybe pasta, chicken, a lot of protein. You understand? So those are the kind of things that I used to eat before when I used to lift a lot of weights and I was into powerlifting, you know, before I got injured. And, I started to realize that that's not the path I want to take. Now I just want to look leaner, a little mass, but I want to look leaner, a little bit more slim, in the stomach area, so I watch what I eat. And when I work out, depending on the area that needs the most worked on, that's what I do. If I see that I need more work in the stomach, so that day I dedicate myself to do stomach, or I dedicate myself to all the time when I do a workout, right? Let's suppose whether it's chest, arms, or back or legs, I always include stomach with that workout because I know that stomach is where I need the most work area. You understand when and your stomach is the most crucial because everything you eat, that's where it goes, right? So that's why I say you got to be careful with what you eat because you know how you digest these things that you are eating makes a big fact, as far as what you consume. So what I do is, as far as me working out, if I'm working out to get slimmer, to get more tone, right? I try to do more, even though I'm doing weights, but I do it in a way where I do more reps than sets. You understand? Um, I might do a little heavy workout once a week to see where my strength is at. But what I usually do is that when I have weights and I'm doing a weight workout with the free weights, I usually what do is I use a lighter weight and I do more reps, you know, because that's gonna tone my muscle and it's gonna burn fat because as you do, it's like doing cardio but with weights, and it depends because weights when you're lifting weights and you're accelerating your heart, right? That's when you start burning calories. Or you can do the stomach if that's the area that you're targeting. And once you finish, you can go upstairs and just get on the treadmill. You know, to me, I feel that once I do a workout that I want to do, whether it's arms or legs, and then I do stomach, and at the ending, I get on the treadmill because that's when you start burning everything. So that's basically what I'm trying to do, and that's my goal. That's my objective. You know, I said to myself when I started this journey, that I'm going to give myself 2 years and then I'm going to really look and see where my progress has gone. And I'm not going to lie to you. I've looked at myself even before that, and I see some progress in certain areas, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work out maybe a little longer or maybe just more reps. It depends. If you have any advice or anything that you would like to add on, please leave it in the comment section so you can help me out just like I can help you, because I also need help. I don't know everything, but there's some things that that I do know is that when I was lifting with free weights and just strictly weights, right? The build that I had was much different because it was like a bulky look, right? Muscle wise, I was bigger muscles. And what I'm doing now with the machines in Planet Fitness, it seems like, you know, when you work out with these machines, it's not only building muscle, but it's also cutting you up at the same time. And I've noticed that because I look at people in the gym that are working out and I see their physiques and some of these guys that I talk to that has been there for a long time, that they've been working only strictly on machines and, sometimes a little free weight, but basically more on machines. They look more slimmer and more fatigue, meaning more fit, you know. Now you got the guys on the other side, they just work weights. You can see that they're a little bigger, they got more mass, So everybody does a little different, everybody does a different workout. So I, for one, I'm more partial to, you know, doing more reps, a lot of stomach, and a lot of treadmill. That's what I'm concentrating on, you know. And I'm getting better at it. I see that my strength has progress because I see myself, um, lifting more weights, a little heavier. But I don't want to do that again because I'm afraid of getting injured, and getting injured the second time in the same place is very crucial. So I don't want to go through that experience because I've been through it already. That's 30 days off, and depending on how you heal, you see what happened to me. I'm saying, that doctor messed me up for life. So, you got to be very careful, man. I always wear something, I always wear a belt. That's one of the most important things in the world, too. You got to wear a belt, man. If you're lifting weights or you're doing anything, even if it's, a body vest or a strap, you got to wear a belt when you do weights, man, because every time you push, you're pushing down on your rectal area, and that's where the hernias start. So I'm just telling you, this with facts, you know. So if you have any comments or you have any feedback, please leave it in the comment section. Um, I want to say bless you, eat healthier, work out healthier. May God bless you. May God bless your families. Take care and have a wonderful and great day.